Why is there such a disconnect during the signing of the Armistice of 1918? Let's get into it right here. So, just to recap, Armistice to try and end World War I is signed November 18th, 1918, and it goes into effect at 11 o'clock local French time. So that's 11:11 at 11. World War I is officially over, right? The Germans are looking to sign an armistice. They're looking to sign a truce to end the fighting on the Western Front. But the terms decided by the Allies are very, 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 very harsh. The Germans have to evacuate all of the territory that they have taken in France, with an emphasis on Alsace-Lorraine and the evacuation of the Rhineland, which is going to be important later on. They have to surrender a ton of weapons. Something like 25,000 machine guns have to be surrendered. All of their U-boats have to be evacuated, and their entire naval fleet has to be handed over to the Allies. There's actually a whole mutiny at the end of the war with the German Navy. All right, so it's a very, very, very harsh treaty by the Allies towards the Germans. Even though it is an armistice, it's reading like a surrender, and that's where the disconnect comes. Right, these German generals thought that they were doing the honorable thing. They thought that they were stopping all of the bloodshed on the Western Front, and hopefully the peace negotiations that would follow would find a fair and justifiable end to the war. But that's not what happened, right? Those generals were signing what the Allies deemed as pretty much an unconditional surrender. Even though we didn't use that word, that's what they were thinking, all right? And the Germans never get that invite to the diplomatic end of the war, right? The military end is the armistice. The diplomatic end is going to be the Paris Peace Conference, which we'll get into a lot more, but the Germans are not invited, and that's that major disconnect, and that's where the stab in the back myth is going to come from, all right? So if you study Germany in the 1930s and a specific guy and a specific party that sprouts up there, they're a real big proponent of that stab in the back myth, that those German generals were stabbing the Germans in the back by signing a surrender because they were, akin to the Allies and they wanted the German Kaiser to fall. That's not what happened at all. The major disconnect: the Germans thought that they were signing an armistice, a truce, an honorable way to end the war, and then be invited to the diplomacy afterwards. The Allies had other thoughts in mind, and that's what will happen at the Paris Peace Conference. I'll get into that in my next couple videos. Hope that helped. Be good.